Hey everyone, Sage Damon here with an update as far as the backlog going through 2026. So, I'm doing well as far as the backlog goes for how many games I've beat. However, for the games that I have told myself I wanted to play this year, it is a little bit slower, given that some of them are a little bit longer of titles, but I'm getting near the end of some of them and starting up a new backlog style of like going and beating the games. I've been going with the rule of three method that 8-bit joystick has been doing. I'll go ahead and leave his video on that in the description below. I really recommend that. It's been helping me mentally with going through backlog of not just using my game or not just playing my games, but also reading books that I've been collecting, watching media such as anime and movies that I've been collecting. So yeah, I'll drop that in the description below. I really enjoy the method of the rule of three, and I'm gonna be trying that for a while and seeing how I enjoy that method going here on out. So I have beat 10 games so far this year, which is a little bit ahead of schedule of what I wanted to do, but some of them were a little bit shorter of titles. And another thing I've been doing is going back and beating games that I haven't beat before, or that I had started a playthrough on but never got around to finishing it up. On January 10th, a little bit after getting back from my trip to Japan, I had played and completed Class of '09, which is a visual novel taking place in the year 2009 where certain languages were more acceptable back then, using words that you wouldn't hear today that would instantly get you demonetized. However, I do enjoy that type of humor myself just because it's not as seen nowadays as it was whenever a lot of us were teenagers. Going and seeing the variety of endings and just what leads up to them with the characters Nicole and Jekka, the different classmates that they have to deal with, and just seeing how nobody is a decent person in this game. Every person in this game and in the entire series is just awful. Yes, even Jeffrey. Then I had taken a little break, getting back and readjusting to things. So on February 14th, so Valentine's Day, I had beat the Atelier Marie remake on the Switch. It took me about 9 hours. I'm probably not going to go back. I had gotten the ending I wanted. And seeing how the game ran and how you're on a timer for everything, I can see how a lot of people could see that as a struggle to go through and how it can affect your playthrough of it. If I mess up on this, then I've just lost out on 4 months of progress. However, I found it as a cozy time. I loved all the characters, the story was nice, the combat was good as well, very, very simple and rudimentary, and you can see where it leads to with the rest of the Atelier games. Next up, my second visual novel of the year, Majikoi de Watashi Nikoi Shinsai. Took me about 19 hours to go through this. I had started it up a little bit last year, but never really did anything with it, and I had beaten that on February 23rd. And once I had just gotten into it and actually was making progress, I was going relatively quick. I'd been meaning to play it for a long time. A buddy of mine had purchased it for me on Steam without the uncut content. I don't know if I'd go back to this. I enjoyed what I had played of it. You sort of play as the sneaky character of the group, the one who will do anything underhanded to win. And seeing how this character throughout the entire time never really betrays himself and does everything he can to for the win. Also, it is a very cultured game with many nice CGs, so for those who are in the visual novel space, you know. Shortly after that, on March 1st, I had beat Legend of Heroes Trails of Cold Steel 3. I had started it last year. I was working on it as a playthrough, and then other games came up at the time that I wanted to cover at that time, so I went and finished up Cold Steel 3. Took me about 90 hours to go and beat it. There is a couple things I missed, and I know I'm going to need to go back for another playthrough at some point. So that's going to be for the JRPG Runback, which I'll probably start on that maybe towards the end of the year, maybe beginning of next. I'll do like a big announcement about it. However, holy shit. This game just threw me for a loop on the entire series, and it's just been on my mind ever since. But I'm trying to limit my exposure to it. I'm trying not to get myself burnt out on any series or any style, so I've been taking a break. Here within the next month or two, I might start up Cold Steel 4, get through the Erebonian arc, and be ready for whenever Trails in the Sky 2nd comes out. So far, Cold Steel 3 is my highest rated game this year at a 9 out of 10, so we'll see if anything can top that. Next up, the 5th game I beat this year, and it being the 3rd visual novel, was the Class of '09 The Re-Up, which is sort of like a... how to say, like a new version of the Class of '09. It's not like a remaster, it's not a remake, it's just sort of like new stories that you're going through. And I mean, like, I've only seen clips of the game up until the point where I went and beat it. And man, I'm glad I went through this series. I did, spoiler alert, I did go and beat another one in the series, so I finished up the trilogy. Man, I was just laughing almost the entire time. There were a few times in one of them where I was just like, man, I'm uncomfortable. And then I had sort of gone and sort of ran through some titles. So I had beat the Class of '09 Re-Up March 10th. Took me about 4 hours to beat. I usually do them in the span of a night. Afterwards, I didn't beat a game until April 9th, being Tales of Grace's F Remastered. As far as like the Tales games I've gone over and have beat, this is probably the lowest one for me. Like the gameplay was top notch. It's probably my favorite of the gameplay in the franchise, but like, man, that story, like, the gameplay's good. That's about all I can say. Took me about 21 hours to beat. I did play through it with the boosts on and the G shop or whatever it was called, where you can unlock a bunch of different stuff and you have points to accumulate towards it. With the remastered, they just had that open right from the get-go. From what I was told, you had to beat the game to unlock this. I had given it a 6 out of 10, so far being the lowest rated game I've played this year so far. If I go back for it, it's going to be for completing the last DLC chapter. They had released DLC for it back on the PS3, which was essentially another chapter that takes place in the future. Outside of that, I don't know if I can see myself going and trying to beat this game multiple times and trying to get the platinum on it. I don't know if I can see myself doing that for the Tales of series. Next up, 3 days later, another one I had started earlier this year, but didn't actually go and beat. It was another 4-hour game and another visual novel, being Doki Doki Literature Club. Unfortunately, all of the shock for the game was already gone for me from YouTube playthroughs, from memes on it, and just people generally talking about the game. But I wanted to see what it was about for myself, and I picked it up on the PS5 and went through it. And I gotta say, I really enjoyed the game's story and how it talks about mental health and those who struggle with it. I had beat the game 3 days after Tales of Grace's F, so on April 12th. If I go back for it, it's probably just going to be for the Platinum if I really care to. Next up is Pokemon Colosseum. I had beaten that 3 days after Doki Doki Literature Club. It's part of a stream series that I was doing a while back, maybe 4 years ago, where I was playing it and I'm wanting to capture all the Shadow Pokemon and purify their hearts, going for a Purify run on the game. Well, I had beat the game. I haven't quite gotten the completion yet on it, so expect to see me streaming that every now and again. And I don't know what else I can say about the Pokemon Ore region games I haven't said before. I love double battles, I love the story, I love the region itself. I do think that some of the Shadow Pokemon choices, especially in Colosseum, were a little bit on the lackluster side until nearing the end. And after this playthrough of the game, I don't know if I'll ever go back to Pokemon Colosseum. This might be my last playthrough of it. I had beat the game on April 15th. It took me about 27 hours to get to that point. And I did decide to bite the bullet and with Pokemon games, use infinite rare candies. And say what you will, grinding is cringe and cheating is based. Next is God of War 3, which I had beaten the following day. I was a decent way through, I'd say 3/4 of the way through, and this was about 10 years ago. I want to say it was about 10, maybe 8 years ago that I was playing through the game, and if you know me, you know I love God of War. It's one of my favorite series of all time. God of War Ragnarok, probably second favorite game of all time. And I've got a little God of War shrine that I'm sort of building upon. And I was like, okay, you know what, let's go through, download this game, beat it, and have something that I had been wanting to play and finish up, and just finish that off. Well, I had gone through, I was about 3/4 of the way through, getting through the Garden of Hera, and a little bit past that. Then I went and beat the game, and I had already known about the ending of it, but I didn't expect the final boss to be what it was, and it felt a little disappointing compared to what we went through getting there. It definitely was satisfying to see certain fights that I had known about and seeing certain character deaths which felt satisfying to go through. And seeing what Kratos had gone through, especially in the last portion of the game, I can see how he turned into what he did in God of War 2018. The final time was just around 8 hours to beat. Will I go back? I don't know. If I want to get the platinum on it, I'll go back and do it. Outside of that, I don't know if I will. And last up, a couple days later, on April 21st, I had beat Class of 09 The Flip Side. It was another 4-hour experience, getting through all of the endings, and this one follows the main character's best friend, Jekka, and honestly, she's probably the best character throughout the whole series. Don't even try to at me. Seeing things from her side and seeing how some of the endings tie in to endings that were in the previous titles, I felt like that was really good to show the side of the best friend and where things go with that. It also did lead to some of the most uncomfortable endings, if you ask me, but I stuck through it to the end. I have no reason to go back since I had gotten all the endings and all of, well, everything. So, Class of 09 is done. And that is 10 games beat, and there being 5 visual novels. I do intend on probably getting one more visual novel done this year, maybe 2 more. I've just been on a kick with them lately. And then going and looking at the games that I've told myself, like, that I want to play. I'm going to go ahead and show the games to play in 2026 chart now, I'm adding a section of games to go back to, which I added God of War to. So as you can see, not much has happened. And with the 8-bit joysticks style of Backlog, I am adding a couple of these titles to it, being Fallout 4 and Baldur's Gate 3, which I am almost at the end of. And then right now, separate from that, for my stream game, I am playing through Ys 8. So I am working on this. It's just going to take a minute for some of these. And with that, that is going to be all for me. If there are any questions you have about the Backlog or any of these games, feel free to leave them in the comments. Let me know what games you all are going through. And as always, leave a like, subscribe to the videos, as that's the best way to help me. Hype it up if you're on mobile. And I will catch you all in the next one. Peace.